We're a narrow strip mill that opened in 1957. We basically turned slab into coil form of various different grades at various different sectors. The home market and the international market, going into agricultural machinery, the automotive such as seatbelt buckles, anything down. We've even done razor blades and television frame material. From a safety point of view, gone down all the normal avenues. We've got designated walkways, and the overhead cranes that we have all have like a laser distance measurement. But in this particular bay, besides having the 4 overhead cranes, we had a crane called a semi-portal crane that's underneath the others. It's for actually turning over and what's called descaling, which is getting imperfections out of the slab before they go into the furnace. So his main danger was, these are the cranes that are going above, that are carrying the slabs from one end of the bay to the other. There is a potential that their load could hit the crane, the semi-portal crane beneath them. Now, up until installing this ZoneSafe system, it relied on the skill of the driver and his experience and knowledge, knowing the crane was there and avoiding it. Which is great, but we did have a couple that were a little bit close, and we thought if we could come out with some system that warned the overhead drivers when their load became too near the semi-portal crane beneath, that would be an extra level of defence. We've got a system now that we've got a siren and flashing light on the lower crane that can easily be seen visually by the overhead cranes, and a transmitter unit on each of the crane. They're called halos. It's basically the hub that's holding the load. So if that load becomes too close to the crane beneath, the semi-portal crane, it initiates flashing lights and the audible siren, just as a reminder to the overhead driver, hang on, you're getting a little bit close here. The most important requirements when we got it was something that was a simple system that we could have the visual and audible alarms on, but that was quite secure in the fact we didn't have lots of false alarms, which then obviously would lose the trust of the operators operating it. Also, we wanted something that we could vary the distance, so we could find out what was a distance that wasn't giving nuisance alarms. In other words, the nearness that the overhead cranes have to get to the lower crane to lower their load for the lower crane to then process. But at the same time, we could get a distance that was far enough for safety reasons. This was a unique requirement that wasn't fulfilled by any of the other safety systems we had on site, so it did fit in quite neatly. The larger benefit is, besides obviously protecting the asset of the semi-portal crane, it also gives the drivers themselves a little bit more reassurance that there's that extra level of protection in there that obviously stops them being involved in an accident or an incident, which no one wants to be involved in anything like that. I think before we implemented the system, the drivers of the overhead cranes in that bay probably felt that it was a lot on them, on their skill levels, to obviously avoid the semi-portal crane beneath them. Now with this, it gives them that extra level of confidence that it's not just all on them. There are systems in place, and systems that in the future we could further develop.
It's a warning that we needed, because that crane can be collided with, because there's 3 other cranes operating this bay, and sometimes all at once. So obviously this, as I say, is an extra protection.